Mike Peters, the heart of The Alarm, lived a story that's equal parts inspiring and unforgettable. Let's dive into the journey of a man who never stopped fighting. In the gritty streets of Prestatyn, Wales, a young Mike Peters picked up a guitar, dreaming of music that could shake the world. Inspired by David Bowie's flair and Woody Guthrie's soul, he formed The Alarm in 1981 with Eddie McDonald, Dave Sharp, and Nigel Twist. Their raw energy and anthems like 68 Guns and Blaze of Glory lit up the 1980s rock scene, landing them a deal with IRS Records. The Alarm wasn't just a band, they were a movement. But something was brewing beneath the surface. By 1991, The Alarm shocked fans by splitting up. Whispers of clashing egos and creative differences filled music circles, though no one knew the full story. Some say Peters' drive outgrew the band, others point to tensions with McDonald. Whatever happened, it left fans reeling. But Peters wasn't done yet, far from it. Refusing to fade, Peters launched a solo career, dropping albums like Breathe and Rise. He even joined forces with punk legends in Dead Man Walking and later the Mascaleros, proving he could reinvent himself. His music carried the same fire, but a bigger challenge was coming. And it wasn't about fame. In 1995, Peters faced a gut punch, a lymphoma diagnosis. Most would have stepped back, but he fought, beating it by 1996. Then, in 2005, chronic lymphocytic leukemia struck. Fans held their breath as Peters kept touring, his voice still roaring. His resilience wasn't just inspiring, it was defiance in the face of fate. But there was more to his fight than music. During his battles, Peters co-founded the Love Hope Strength Foundation with fellow leukemia patient James Chippendale. Their mission? Raise funds for cancer care through concerts and events. It's been said they've saved countless lives, turning Peters' pain into purpose. His 2006 BBC documentary, On the Road to Recovery, showed a man who wouldn't let cancer define him. But the story wasn't over. In 2000, The Alarm reunited, though only Peters remained from the original lineup. Fans got a brief taste of the old magic during a VH1 Bands Reunited special. But in 2022, rumors swirled when Peters revealed his leukemia had relapsed into Richter's syndrome. He underwent grueling chemotherapy and a 2024 clinical trial, briefly reaching remission. Fans hoped he'd pull through again. And then, tragedy struck. In April 2025, Peters passed away at 66, days after starting T-cell therapy. The music world mourned, but his legacy burns bright. From 68 Guns Angels to Spirit of 76, his songs still echo, and his foundation keeps saving lives. Mike Peters didn't just make music, he lived with unbreakable spirit. What's the one Alarm song that hits you hardest? His story makes you wonder, how will you leave your mark? David Horowitz's life is a tale of loyalty, betrayal, and unrelenting conviction. From New York's streets to the heart of political battles, his journey is as divisive as it is gripping. Let's unravel the story of a man who redefined his legacy. Born in 1939 in Queens, Horowitz grew up in a Jewish family steeped in communist ideals. His parents were card-carrying members of the party, and young David soaked it all in. He studied English at Columbia and Berkeley, diving into the New Left by the 1960s. As editor of Ramparts magazine, he rubbed shoulders with Black Panther founder Huey Newton and championed civil rights. His 1965 book on the Cold War turned heads with its bold revisionist take. But something was about to shatter his world. In 1970, the unsolved murder of a Black Panther accountant rocked Horowitz. Rumors swirled about internal betrayal, and he began questioning the left's moral compass. By the late 1970s, he was pulling away, a move that stunned his comrades. Some say he felt deceived by the movement he'd poured his heart into. Others argue he saw a darker truth. Either way, his next step would shock everyone. By the 1980s, Horowitz was a full-fledged conservative. He founded the David Horowitz Freedom Center in 1988, a hub for challenging left-wing ideologies and what he called anti-Americanism. He launched Front Page magazine and Heterodoxy, platforms that pulled no punches. His writing grew sharper, targeting socialism and political correctness. Fans on X still praise his fearless pivot, but critics branded him a turncoat. And he was just getting started. Horowitz took his fight to academia. In 2003, he launched Students for Academic Freedom to combat leftist bias in universities. His 2006 book, The Professors, The 101 Most Dangerous Academics in America, named scholars he accused of pushing politics over scholarship. The backlash was fierce, some called it a witch hunt. Yet, his academic Bill of Rights gained traction, leading Temple University to revise its policies in 2006. Reports claim this cemented his influence, but it also made him a lightning rod. There's more to his story, though. Personal tragedy shaped Horowitz's path. His daughter Sarah passed away in 2008 at 44, a loss he explored in his book A Cracking of the Heart. A father of 4 from his first marriage to Alyssa, he later wed April Mulvane Horowitz. Some speculate Sarah's death deepened his resolve, while others point to his son Ben Horowitz, a tech mogul, as proof of his complex legacy. Online buzz suggests his conservative turn was as personal as it was political. Horowitz wrote best-selling books on dynasties like the Kennedys and Roosevelts, lectured at over 300 colleges, and sparred on networks like Fox News and CNN. His platform Discover the Networks still tracks leftist movements, stirring debate. When he passed, X lit up with tributes and criticism, reflecting his polarized impact. David Horowitz lived a life of radical shifts and fierce battles. From new left hero to conservative warrior, he never backed down. His story leaves us with a question: what's the true cost of standing by your truth in a divided world? Ever wonder how a peasant's son from a tiny Romanian village climbed to the top of politics, only to vanish after a string of jaw-dropping twists? Valeriu Taber's story is anything but ordinary. Born in the Ari Valley, he grew up in Sliua, a place where dreams rarely stretched beyond the fields. But Valeriu was different. By 34, he'd earned a doctorate in agronomy, the youngest ever at Timișoara Zamvi. His early life wasn't just about books, it was about defying the odds. And that was just the start. While teaching phytotechnics, Valeriu led groundbreaking research at SCDA Lovrin, creating 2 hemp varieties that won him a gold medal from the Agricultural Academy. Hemp, you say? Yeah, the kind that sparks debates today. His work was strictly agricultural, but whispers about its modern implications still swirl online. This wasn't a guy chasing trends, he was ahead of his time. But his ambitions didn't stop at the lab. Before 1989, Valeriu was tied to the Communist Party, a detail that raises eyebrows today. After the regime fell, he co-founded Vatra Românească, then jumped to PUNR, rising to president by 1997. But here's where it gets spicy. In 2002, he ditched PUNR for the Democratic Party. Fans called it strategic, critics screamed opportunism. Reports claim his party switches ruffled feathers, but Valeriu kept climbing. And there's more to unpack. As a Timi MP from 1992 to 2012, he shaped agriculture policy, chairing key committees and serving as Minister of Agriculture twice, first in the 90s, then under Bok in 2010. His influence was undeniable, but not without drama. Rumors of backroom deals followed him, though nothing stuck. He was a survivor until life threw a curveball. In 2012, Valeriu underwent risky open-heart surgery. Barely recovering, he crashed his car, fracturing both legs. From his hospital bed, he shocked everyone. He was done with politics. The man who'd dodged controversies couldn't outrun fate. But was that really the end? After retiring, Valeriu became president of the Romanian Academy of Sciences in 2019. Some say he's still pulling strings behind the scenes. Others argue he's faded into obscurity. His journey, from peasant to power broker, hemp pioneer to political lightning rod, leaves one question: was Valeriu Tabur a master strategist, or just a man caught in the chaos? Why did it take decades for the world to discover Jane Gardam, a literary giant whose stories captured the soul of a fading empire? Born in 1928 in a quiet corner of North Yorkshire, she was a storyteller who didn't find her voice until later in life. But when she did, her words left an unforgettable mark. Let's dive into the life of this remarkable writer and uncover why her brilliance is only now getting the spotlight. Jane Gardam grew up in Coatham, a small coastal town, and earned a scholarship to study English at Bedford College. She wasn't born into fame or wealth. After graduating, she worked as a librarian for Red Cross hospitals, then as an editor for magazines like Time and Tide. She was 28 when her first child was born, and she stepped away from work to raise her family. Most would have stopped there, but Jane was just getting started. And what came next would surprise everyone. At 43, with her youngest child in school, Jane published Far from Verona, a children's book that sparkled with wit and heart. She kept writing for young readers, but by the late 1970s, her novels for adults were stealing the show. God on the Rocks earned a Booker Prize nomination and a French Literary Award, proving she could weave stories that resonated across generations. Her work was sharp, emotional, and unflinching, yet she remained a hidden gem in the literary world. But that wasn't the whole story. Her Old Filth trilogy, published between 2004 and 2013, changed everything. These novels followed Edward Feathers, a lawyer navigating love, loss, and the crumbling British Empire. Critics called them masterpieces, blending humor with haunting reflections on identity. Jane poured her generation's struggles into these pages, creating characters that felt alive. Fans on X still rave about the trilogy's emotional depth, but why did it take so long for her to break through? Jane's trophy case tells part of the story. She won the Whitbread Book Award twice, the David Hyam Prize for her short stories, and was honored as an officer of the British Empire in 2009. Yet, outside literary circles, her name rarely surfaced. Some speculate her early focus on children's books kept her under the radar. Others say her quiet life in Sandwich, Kent, with her husband David and their 3 children, kept her out of the spotlight. But something unexpected was brewing across the sea. In 2016, Germany discovered Jane Gardam. Her novel Ein untadeliger Mann, the German translation of Old Filth, became a bestseller, hailed as the literary discovery of the season. Suddenly, her books were flying off shelves, with translations pouring out. Fans were hooked on her sharp prose and timeless stories. Reports claim this late fame surprised even Jane, who was 88 at the time. But there's more to her story than accolades. Jane's life wasn't without challenges. She outlived her husband, David, who passed in 2010, and spent her final years in a nursing home, passing away in 2025 at 96. Some say her focus on personal, introspective tales made her less marketable in her prime. Yet, her death sparked fresh buzz online, with fans and critics calling for her work to be rediscovered. Jane Gardam's stories remind us that brilliance can stay hidden, only to shine when the time is right. Her novels and short stories capture a world that's gone, but still speaks to us. As her books find new readers, one question lingers: what other literary treasures are waiting to be found? Priscilla Pointer, a name tied to Hollywood royalty and cult classics, lived a career full of surprises. From Broadway stages to David Lynch's eerie worlds, her story is one you won't forget. Let's uncover the life of this unsung actress. Born in 1924 in New York City, Priscilla grew up surrounded by art. Her parents were illustrators, and creativity ran in her blood. By the late 1940s, she was lighting up Broadway, her sharp talent turning heads. She dipped her toes into TV with China Smith in 1954, but life had other plans. And what happened next would pause her dreams for years. In 1947, Priscilla married Jules Irving, a theater director who later ran Lincoln Center. They raised 3 kids, including actress Amy Irving. Family came first, and Priscilla stepped back from acting. Her hiatus lasted nearly 2 decades, a choice that left fans wondering what could have been. But her story was far from over. The 1970s brought Priscilla back with a bang. She landed a lead role on the soap opera Where the Heart Is, playing Adrienne Harris Rainey. Then came Dallas, where she stole scenes as Rebecca Wentworth, the mother of Cliff and Pam Barnes. Her commanding presence proved she hadn't lost her spark. But there was more to her comeback. Priscilla's film roles defined her legacy. In 1976, she played Amy Irving's mother in Carrie, a chilling performance that set the tone for their on-screen chemistry. They teamed up again in Honeysuckle Rose and Carried Away. Her role in David Lynch's Blue Velvet shocked audiences with its dark intensity, while A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 cemented her as a horror favorite. Fans on X still buzz about her haunting performances. But there's another layer to her story. Priscilla's family ties added intrigue. She acted in 3 films directed by her son, David Irving, including a quirky Rumpelstiltskin musical. As Amy Irving's mother, she was linked to Steven Spielberg during his marriage to Amy, a connection that fueled Hollywood gossip. Some say her niche roles kept her from mainstream fame, but her cult following begs to differ. And her final years held one last milestone. In May 2024, Priscilla turned 100, a quiet celebration overshadowed by her passing in April 2025 from natural causes. Online, fans speculate her career was eclipsed by Amy's stardom or her long break from acting. Yet, her work in horror and avant-garde films is finding new fans today. Priscilla Pointer's life was a tapestry of stage, screen, and family. From Broadway to Blue Velvet, she left a mark that's only now getting its due.